Go ahead, Carol. Go to war.
Thank you, sir.
Amo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Welcome back to another edition of the War Room. This time we are doing part 2 of Jalen Ramsey. So if you missed the first one was primarily focusing on him as a nickel corner, a little bit of the star role. And this time I'm going to focus a lot more on the safety role. So we don't really know exactly what we're getting. I talked about that last time. We don't know what we're going to see from him, what positions he's going to be playing. We don't really know a lot what to expect in general from Patrick Graham outside of, what he's done in the past, but he is such a versatile coach that we will see exactly how he wants to deploy some of the players that we have on this roster. Cody, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you jumping in here. So this video I took way too much time on. Last one was about a couple weeks ago. I've done Jamel Dean now. It was about 10 or 11 plays. I did the first Ramsey War Room, which was roughly about 17 plays. This one's going to be about 27. So I went a little overboard on this one, but it was just so fascinating to dig into his film, see how he's utilized some of the things he was talked about as being good or not good. And I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit. And I'm trying, since I'm solo, I don't really have two screens that are set up very well. So I'm going to be looking off to my left a little bit to try to keep up with the comments for any of you guys commenting in the chat. So I'm going to do my best there, but I'm making no promises because this is kind of a lot to do solo on this. So one of the things that I wanted to show you all here is I'm going to bring this up on the screen right now. If you can see this, you might have to blow up the picture a little bit. But some of the things that I wanted to show you guys was Jalen Ramsey and his position. So you can actually see how his positions changed throughout the season. Early on, you had him in the slot. And then you could see where the transition happens right there around week 9. You'll see him moving pretty much full-time to safety. And that's kind of where I picked this thing up from. So I picked up from week 9 and moved through the remainder of the season because you can really see the splits here and how dominant he played in the safety position. And again, I said this last time and I'll say it again. It's primarily out of necessity, right? So I think that's going to be a thing that we're going to continue to see as a trend here is if it's not necessity, they're going to move him around. If it's necessity, they're going to probably put him in a particular spot and leave him. So we'll see. Yeah, Cody, I agree. And I pointed this out last time, Cody. I don't know if you saw the last one, but it was kind of interesting to me. And I don't have the clip from that one that I could put up on the screen here for you. But something that I thought was really, really interesting is that his first year, each time he's moved to a new team was a down year. Now, it wasn't quite as down as last year, but they were slightly down years. And then you could see that he really takes off in the second season. So I don't know if we're going to get that same exact situation here because we have a full coaching change. We're going to have a full defensive schematic change. We have a whole different coordinator. Everything's all different, right? Except for a lot of the players. I mean, pretty much the entire team's all back together here on defense. So I think this is going to be really interesting to see how they deploy him again. I think that's the big thing. And that's why I broke this into 2 segments because, in my opinion, he's the most polarizing person on the entire defense. So I really wanted to break him down in good length to see exactly what he's going to bring to the table. And I'll tell you, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the things that you hear on social media being talked about with him losing a step. I'll let you guys make your own judgments on these things. The fact he can't run with wide receivers anymore, and there was this and that. I was a little surprised going through this that I kind of was moving a little bit the other direction on this because I was not a fan of Ramsey. I didn't want to bring him back because of like what Cody's saying, that last year was not great for him, honestly. And the move to safety wasn't good either. But the more I went through this, the more I kind of figured that Cody's kind of right. It was the defensive scheme, I think, for a lot of this. So we're going to break this down. I'll let you guys make up your minds, and I'll give up some recap stuff as we wrap up the film. But this thing's pretty long. It was like 12 minutes, 16 seconds of just consecutive film. So I'm going to kind of dive into it a little bit, but address a couple of things here. Slash, I agree. The price, I thought it would be more of a topic this offseason. I thought he might be a cut candidate, trade candidate, something like that because of the price tag. But I just, I don't know. They clearly felt like the whole band had to come back together to try to make a run at a Super Bowl. If that's going to happen, I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I would kind of lean towards it won't, but who knows? Maybe McCarthy and Rodgers find that magic in the defense under Patrick Graham's leadership actually figures out how to do something that's not completely vanilla, and we actually do something that might throw some teams off. Who knows? That'd be insane, right? We haven't done that in forever, I feel like. But I agree with this. We do have a good coaching staff, especially in the secondary as well. Patrick Graham kind of made his money in the secondary as well, coming up, which is a good sign for those guys in the secondary. He does like to keep everything in front, and we'll see how that plays out. So I don't think that we're going to see a lot of single high where you got, dudes lining up 30 yards downfield like we've seen in the past with Minka and Jalen last year. And, for a short stint there, a couple other guys that we had mixed in there, Chuck Clark and such. But I think some of that's going to go off the table, and he's going to try to keep everything in front and eliminate the big play and hopefully use pressure to get some takeaways off this. So, yeah, I agree with this too. I'm telling you what, everything was outside leverage. Like literally everything was outside leverage. I'm gonna dive into this and then I'll try to keep up with your comments. But again, I'm gonna be looking off to the side here for your comments, but I've got my notes on the right side. So guys, bear with me on this one. I'm gonna try to do the best to keep up with you. I do think there's gonna be 3 safeties on the field as well. And Ramsey, again, with his versatility, I think that's the one thing that is going to be really intriguing for me. Is they are going to use him in so many different roles. Basically anything that there can be a role for as a defensive back on the field. He's going to play the nickel. He's going to play in dime situations. He's going to play at the deep safety position. He's going to play in the strong safety position. He's going to probably play in that star role. They talked about the star role there. So, kind of, I referred to it last time as like a sub linebacker role. It's kind of all the same thing. You're kind of playing out of the nickel in the box. He's going to be utilized in pretty much every way you could possibly see. But Adam, I'll tell you what, stay tuned for this because I'm going to give my final thoughts on this as we wrap this thing up. So I definitely, again, I see they're going to move him around. They've talked about that already. They're going to move him around. There's no doubt about that. But I think primarily, I'll let you guys see what I broke down. Most of what I have for this one is going to be more safety role. And I tried to take the things that were a little bit more meaningful. There's some stuff in here that's kind of fun. And then there's just some things in here where it's more of like he's in the box, kind of in that nickel, but he's also as the safety on the field. So I'm going to slide some things around on my screen here so I can get this thing pulled up. And we're going to take off on this thing. All right, so this is week 9 again. If you guys joined in a couple minutes after I got started, this thing is week 9. This is going to start off from the Colts game, and this is primarily again where he started taking off as the safety position more so than in the box or in the nickel or anything like that. So this is going to be cover 2. It's a zone. You have Ramsey with the deep responsibility, and you're going to see Ramsey lined up right here on your screen. And where this play is going to end up with is a matchup between Darius Slay, everybody's favorite Pittsburgh Steeler, and Alec Pierce, who was the deep threat for Indianapolis of Colts, who just got the bag this offseason. So let's take a look at this. This is one of the things that I think as a safety, typically Ramsey is a really, really above average tackler. I mean, he's a damn good tackler. Let's just call it what it is. He's a good tackler. But in the safety position, it's a little bit of a different ball game when you're out in open space and you're not tight on somebody's hip. You have to make sure you take the right angles and things of that nature. So let's let this thing kind of unfold a little bit, and let's just kind of see how Ramsey plays this out if my computer is going to cooperate, because as of right now, it is not playing. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to pull this thing back up. Hang on just a moment. I think one of the big things with Ramsey is going to be the fact that you bring that versatility to the room with him. But there's definitely a learning curve here that you're going to see play out. And I think that learning curve kind of has gotten the better of him at times. But you see the potential is absolutely there for him to transition full time. All right. I think I've got this bad boy going now. Let me reshare my screen for you guys so you can all see what I'm seeing. All right. So again, you're going to be looking at Ramsey here in the middle of the field. You're going to watch the matchup down here at the bottom of the screen. We're going to roll this thing, and you're going to see as this is a deep shot. Alec Pierce doesn't make any bones about this. It was a pretty piss poor effort, of course, by Darius Slay. But the angle Ramsey takes, like when you're the final line of defense like that, you can't take horrible angles. And I'm not sure if he initially thought he could get to the ball, but if you watch right here, I mean, he's breaking down, but you're breaking down pretty late. You're giving Alec Pierce enough room to make a move. Like, you have to understand that you cannot make this play. And of course, Darius Slay is doing what he does best and laying on the ground. But I just thought that was an opportunity for him as a safety to really make a tackle. As a guy who's a sure tackler. So we're going to rewind this back a little bit here and just watch that one more time. So as you see this kind of open up right here, again, he reads it. He's breaking on the ball. Now, this is a long run. It's Daniel Jones has I would say, a little slightly above average arm. You can already see he knows based on what he's seeing right here that Pierce is open. This thing's going to be a completion. And as he comes across the field, like, he is just out of control at this point. Like, nothing is square. He's still going to bringing his momentum this way. Like, you got to start breaking down a little bit sooner. You might give up a couple of extra yards by breaking down slower, but the fact that he came in as hot as he did and tried to do this, like, an arm tackle is not going to bring down a guy of Alec Pierce's size. That's a missed opportunity. And typically, again, Ramsey's a really good tackle, but yeah, definitely painful to see him as a deep option. That was a bad angle on that one. So I agree. So that's just one of those things that it's tough. I will say that wasn't the norm for him. And a lot of the stuff that I watched almost every single snap that he took the entire year throughout these two clips between last time and this time in part 1 and part 2. But on this one here, we're going to kind of skip ahead to this one. This one's going to end up being man-to-man, and you're going to have Tyler Warren right here. You got Jalen Ramsey right here in the middle of your screen. So this is something where I think he is so good at coming downhill. So again, he's here. He's going to be man up on Tyler Warren. You can see these two. Warren's going to do a little block release and then just absolutely drives through the tight end. That's a huge hit for a safety, man. That's a lot of guys aren't hitting like this in the NFL. He is kind of a throwback guy. That's why I love him when they made the addition last year. But again, you're going to see this from the different angle. A little chip there. Warren releases and just, I mean, absolutely drives right through the rib cage, man. You can't teach it any better than that. So if you're Jalen Ramsey, if you're a sports fan of Pittsburgh Steelers defense and the old way they played, he brings some boom and some attitude on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that's something that I like seeing from him. He's got closing speed. I think the one thing, I'm going to rewind that back just for a minute, because I think the one thing that I came away with in some of this film was the fact that the closing speed is still there. It may not be the straight line speed running downfield with a fast receiver, but watch the closing speed on this. I mean, he's coming and he attacks and he hits right away. So I just thought that to me was something that stood out as just, if he's going to transition to safety, or we're going to play him a lot at safety and maybe mix him in with both safety and a defensive back role as nickel or whatever they're going to end up putting him at. If you have good closing speed like that, you can make a lot of plays on the defensive side of the ball. And Warren, you could tell Warren didn't want no part of that when he was getting up. He didn't feel very good about that one. Now we're going to show another play involving both Ramsey and Warren. So Ramsey here is going to be in the top middle of your screen. This is kind of like a single high look as you were down at the end zone. So everything's close quarters, of course. And you got Tyler Warren right here. What you're going to see is you're going to see a double crosser in the middle of the field, and you're going to see Warren coming up underneath of this. Now, as this thing plays out, this was one of the fun plays I just thought was interesting. You're going to see we get a hand on the ball, but Ramsey just absolutely lays out Warren for no reason whatsoever, which I love personally. I thought that was amazing. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But here's from the other angle. So you see that they get a hand on the ball. I think this was Jet. Oh, Cam got a hand on it, but the back end of that where Ramsey just lays out Tyler Warren, that was just amusing to me. I had to watch that. And that to me, like, I think that brings a versatility as far as like, or not a versatility necessarily, but just an attitude to your defense. So like, that's one of those things where hitting in the NFL is now kind of discouraged. You know, you can't really lay guys out anymore. But as I went through this, Ramsey's very aggressive. It's not just when he's at the cornerback position. It's not just getting hands on a guy in a press man situation. It's not just the tackling. He's doing this. Like, he's laying hits on guys just to punish them. And I thought that was one of those situations. And it's a rookie tight end, and it kind of feels like the welcome to the NFL moment for him if he hadn't had one yet. So I found that pretty amusing. Personally. So I just think that was something that was a lot of fun to watch. Oh, yeah. The fact, and we didn't even make an adjustment, Cody. So the fact that we didn't make an adjustment, they ran the same play. Somber brought this up recently. 26 times in a row, they ran the same damn play, and there was no adjustments. There was no changes. Like, they knew what to do, and it worked every freaking time. So on this one here, this one was a little nitpicky for me. So I'm going to be honest with you guys about this play up front. I kind of want him to be a little bit more aware of the routes that are run in front of him. So this is going to be another one of the situations where you got Ramsey here in the middle of the field. The play is going to end up down at the bottom of the screen. So you're bringing Warren in motion. You can see Ramsey shade, and then, of course, they bring the other safety over here. You got two guys running deep. Now, right here, if you look at this, everything is on this side of the field. Now, Ramsey has really good awareness as a corner. I mean, he has very good, like, elite awareness as a corner. But as a safety, there is nobody on this side of the field. You see everything in front of you. If you can't realize that all of the routes are over this way and start to shade this way prior to this ball coming out of Daniel Jones' hand, which it is already, I feel like you could have made a better play on this ball. This could have been a potential interception, or you force the check down trying to fit something in here underneath, or you give this just enough time for the pass rush to get there, because you got a guy coming open to get to Daniel Jones right there. So I feel like if he could have just waited a half second. Now, there's pretty tight coverage here. So this ball's thrown out there where it's a difficult catch. If it is a catch, Ramsey is kind of in position where he can do something here, but I just felt like he was a tick late on this. I would have preferred to see him show that awareness and get over there a little bit quicker on this play. And you're going to see it from the other angle, and you can see what he sees on this one because you're behind him. So you can see, again, Ramsey here in the middle of the field. And I feel like right here, you see everything filtering off to this right side here on the screen. Like, as you're Ramsey, Jones is already looking here. I don't know why he's not drifting already to start taking some of this away, because you have a man out here underneath in case somebody would, like the running back would run this little, in breaking route off of this, or some kind of like a, I don't know if they would run like a seam route or something. I don't know what they would want to try to do from this, because he's pretty committed to going where he's going right now. But if Ramsey had some thoughts in his mind about him making a different type of, hey, Tyron, what's going on, buddy? Jalen Ramsey is very unselfish. I point that out in this too as well, Cody. But I just feel like if you see everything moving this way and you already see the quarterback locking in this way, like, he could have been moving earlier. And you can see the rush didn't need much more time. They would have gotten to him. If you would have forced this, now there was obviously some holding penalty down this way, but you could have got there a little. Again, that's nitpicky. To me, that's first time safety type stuff. He could have made a play on that ball, I think, a little bit. It wouldn't have mattered because it was a penalty anyway, but it's just me kind of nitpicking at him transitioning to safety. So now on the next one here, he's going to be in a deep cover one look. So again, he's back here in the middle of the screen. You can see Tomlin likes to play his guys deeper. I actually like the angle he takes on this throw here. So you're going to watch this, and JPJ's in tight coverage down here, but he takes a pretty good angle here to even this. If that was completed, Ramsey's going to be there and make sure that thing doesn't become a touchdown. So I kind of like the way he took that angle, and I'm going to rewind that back a little bit just so you guys can kind of see that. Maybe I'm just a hair too far. But again, you're going to see it here. JPJ, Alec Pierce down here on the bottom of your screen. there was a guy dragging across the middle of the field, so you don't want to overcommit on that one. I thought he took a pretty good angle on that one. So even though it's not like he's not directly in the play there, that was not Pittman. That was Alec Pierce on that. Pittman, I think, was the guy coming underneath, if that's what you're talking about, Cody. But that was actually Alec Pierce down the sideline there with JPJ. So on the next play here, again, you're going to have a situation where this time you've got Tyler Warren and Jalen Ramsey matched up. So there was a clear message in this game. They wanted to take Tyler Warren out of this thing. This is, if you remember, back earlier in the middle part of the season, early part of the season, Tyler Warren started kind of going off. And you had to shut him down because if not, you were going to open up the deep threat with Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. So they did a lot to try to make sure that they minimized Tyler Warren's effectiveness in this game. So I think this was one where I could say if you can guard Tyler Warren, who is a pretty athletic tight end and obviously had tremendous success as a rookie, and he's probably only going to get better. Stay tuned, Cody. Stay tuned. That might be here. Ramsey's going to be, you can see this is a clear man-to-man situation. We're press across the board down here. And then Ramsey just stays on his hip pocket. There's no outlet to throw to. Tyler Warren's a big target, but when you have a guy that's the size of Jalen Ramsey, I think that kind of negates some of the things that you can really do with Tyler Warren and what his effectiveness can be. And so, I feel very confident about him. If he's going to play in the safety role and you do want to bring him into those man situations and shut down guys who are really, really good tight ends in this league, and we have plenty of them in the AFC that we're going to face, I think you can comfortably say that Jalen Ramsey's capable of still doing those things. And with him having those longer arms, he's big-bodied, he's physical, he's strong. You can match up with him on a tight end pretty effectively, and I think feel very comfortable about what you're doing on that one. So, again, there was not much to that. I just thought it was interesting that he's in the hip pocket of Warren there. So, and then Cody, to point out what you may have said there, keep an eye on this play here. So this is going to be a play. You got Michael Pittman here. Here comes Jalen. He sees the in-breaking route, and good night. I mean, again, that's physical. That's attacking. That is a huge hit for a safety to hit on a wide receiver. You're going to see the in-breaker right here, and then good night. And honestly, that was pretty damn close to being a clean hit. I know they called that, but man, the shoulders down. If he's not leading with the head as much as he is, they probably don't. Yeah, they may still call it. I don't know. It's the NFL. Who freaking knows? But I just kind of feel like that was really close to being a pretty clean hit to me. So I like the physicality that he brings, though. And even if you're going to take a penalty like that, I'm okay taking a penalty like that. And Adam's right. He does definitely bring attitude to the defense there. So, and then I felt like that was clean. And then I have another one on this, which I don't remember what this one was. No, okay. Sorry. I just didn't cut it very well. That's my bad. Okay. So we're moving on to week 10. Now, this is the very next week. This is the Chargers week. Now, Chargers game didn't exactly go how we wanted, but there were some moments in this game where Jalen Ramsey actually played pretty well. So on this one here, you're going to see Ramsey. He's going to be one-on-one with Gadsden. Ramsey's going to be down here. You got Gadsden who's going to be split out down at the bottom of the screen. So you're going to see Ramsey kind of shade over. Gadsden's going to be another athletic young tight end. He was a rookie as well. Stays on him, gets a little aggressive, but this still is a pretty tough catch there. But again, Cody, there's your outside leverage that you wanted. Yes, we call that Ryan Clark. He definitely Ryan Clarked him. But that was another one where you saw Gadsden, him going one-on-one, and it was a tough catch. He forced a tough catch on that one. So let me rewind this one back just a smidge. So on this one here, what you're going to see is this is another play for Gadsden. He's actually going to be lined up on the end line right here. You got Jalen Ramsey up here at the top of your screen, and you're going to see Gadsden just kind of run this little drag route across the middle of the field, and Herbert's going to be looking at him as the outlet guy. So everything's designed. Jim does this a lot. He did this a lot at Michigan too, where they do this misdirection stuff where you start everything flowing one way and you bring a tight end back across the middle here, and they try to get some kind of a natural pick. Typically, this time it's going to be pretty much just a one-on-one situation. But you're going to see Ramsey. Now, look where he's coming from. So he's clear back at the goal line. You got Gadsden right here at about the 12 and a half, 13-yard line. And as he comes through, Patrick Queen gives a nice little natural pick. But even though Ramsey doesn't make the play, just a little chip to let the rookie know that he's coming. I just thought, like, it's such a thing for him to do, just because, like, it's nothing in the play. It means nothing whatsoever. But it's just interesting to me that he does these little slight things that just get under people's skin. It's part of his game where he talks a lot and gets under people's skin again. Like, he gets the mind games going. I love what he brings to the table with this stuff. So this is a situation where you're going to see, I half wonder how well he's adjusting to the position with reading the quarterback. He does a really good job of reading the quarterback from the corner position, but I feel like he has still been trying to adjust to reading the quarterback's eyes and the routes that are coming up underneath of him here. So this is going to be a play right here. As you see this thing go, this is the play that I'm sure a lot of you remember. Brandon Echols is going to get beat. This is a play where McConkey kind of hits right in this middle seam right here. Okay. You've got Pierre already outside. He's got pretty good positioning already. Herbert's going to start looking left, but he wants to come back right. Now, Ramsey's in fine position right here. But as this plays out, right now, Pierre's in good position. You're in good position. Herbert's looking here, but you can tell he's going to work back here. This is the next natural progression. Either he's going to come with the underneath guy. JPJ's in pretty decent position right here. You've got, again, the tight end's pretty well covered up. McConkey is coming open. Now, if you're the deep safety here, like, you have to read this. And that's where I felt like he didn't really read it. He breaks on this way too late. And now the catch is already made, and you're still a good 6-7 yards away. And so as you take a bad angle on top of that, McConkey goes running down the sideline. Now, if this dude had, anything but 4.6 speed, that's probably a touchdown. He's the Dennis Rodman of defensive backs. I guess that's one way to put it. But I hated the angle he took there. I hated the fact that he didn't break on that sooner. And this is going to be the other angle of it. So you can see this open up right here. And there goes McConkey running. And you can see, like, right here, Ramsey is nowhere near ready to make this tackle. And I feel like if you watched Minka Fitzpatrick play, he's in that zone right now. He's right there trying to get a PBU off of this. He's going to recognize that you've got a guy in good position. This was the obvious guy coming open, and you try to cover that up as the safety. He did not do that. And then you take a bad angle to try to make the tackle, and you just get a guy running down the sidelines. That should have been a touchdown. If it's anybody with decent speed, that's probably a touchdown 9 out of 10 times right there. So didn't love the angle. He didn't do a good job of kind of like helping Echols out in that situation. So Echols didn't have great coverage either. But again, Cody talks about the outside leverage stuff. He wasn't revenge mode that game. Bastard. Terrible for Pittsburgh. He goes to the freaking Chargers, and he's one of the top interception leaders of the NFL. But I'm going to go back into physicality with this one. So what you're going to see on this, Jalen Ramsey is going to be deep. This is actually a run play here where you're going to watch the center. The center is going to pull around, and he's going to lead this thing, and you're going to get the back out here in front, and you're going to get the toss. Here comes the center. Ramsey just kind of tacks. Like, a lot of DBs are not going to take on the center. And I think that's the difference between Jalen Ramsey and a lot of DBs. You're going to see this from the other angle here. Watch him in the middle of the field. As soon as he sees the center pulling around here, he's going to come after this and try to attack the center. And he ends up actually making the play, which I thought's pretty amazing for a guy who's a little over 200 pounds. Just get out there. Oh, it was the guard. Sorry. I thought it was the center leading. Gets out there, attacks, makes a good play on the ball, ends up taking the running back down because he kind of trips over everybody in the pile there. But that's making a play that could have turned into a massive gain. So I think that was something. Single high is not a strong suit. Absolutely. I was going through that. He definitely, single high. He's not recognizing plays very well at all. But I don't think you're right. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that with Patrick Graham. He's probably not going to run a lot of single high. But yeah, he did too. But yeah, so against you got Ramsey off ball. We're going to be in the Bengals. And this is the very next week. This is week 11. I tried to stay pretty consistent in these, and then I had to kind of like wrap some of this stuff up. This is actually going to be a cover 2. Ramsey's going to be on the near side of the field. Is another play where he just totally misjudges the play. And if you watch this one, I'm going to let this one just play out because honestly, this one was mind-boggling. This is the play we're going to watch Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase and James Pierre down at the bottom here. Gets a good release. I don't know what the hell Ramsey's doing there, but Pierre honestly saved his ass. I mean, he really absolutely saves his ass on this one. I don't know what he's looking at. You're going to see this from the second angle. Here's Ramsey just off screen right here, and you're going to see him just kind of like, I mean, right here, like, I don't know what you're waiting on. I mean, these routes are all covered up underneath. You've got kind of a double coverage here on T. Higgins. Patrick Queen's locked up. I can't tell if that's, I think that's JPJ on Ilyasova, or however you say his name. But Ramsey, I don't know what you're looking at, dude. And then that was gone. If Pierre is beat, that's gone. That's a touchdown. So again, I'm going to take that back to the first look of that because I just, the breakdown of it was so bad that I don't know what he was doing. You can see he's creeping up. He's creeping up. I believe this was a third down play if I remember correctly. And I think they're looking to take down the underneath stuff. Yeah, you're right. Minka was definitely off the screen most of the time. But like he's clearly looking at Jamar Chase. So and you see Chase is selling the upfield. So I don't know where you're going with this. It's not like you're in a press man. I mean, we're 10 yards downfield at this point, and just gets absolutely cooked. That one was kind of mind-boggling to me. That was maybe one of, it's not the, it was one of the worst coverage snaps that I'd seen from him. Jesus. But this one was definitely bad. I thought the breakdown on this, the way he was selling an underneath route, and Jamar Chase had no interest in being underneath that. That was a go ball from the start. So on this one, this is going to start out as another cover 2 look. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. This is another play where Ramsey does a really good job of playing downhill. When he gets to come downhill, you can see they're dropping into the cover 2 look. Got the tight end, and then Chase gets absolutely punished. And this is one of the plays where he really started getting under Chase's skin. This is one of the, because he's talking afterwards. You got Chase dragging across the middle here. Ramsey reads and diagnoses that one really well. Now, if it's in front of him, he does a good job of reading and diagnosing that. So, like, if you can watch that play out again, right here, I mean, he's got a good 9 yards of cushion, but he's already starting to watch the eyes of the quarterback. Sometimes, like, he's hit and miss with this. That's the thing that's kind of drove me crazy watching it, because it's the first down play. He sees Jamar coming across the middle. He knows we're kind of in this in his zone coverage where somebody's going to take him, because you've got Patrick Queen matched up here. You've got the outside here. You've got the outside here. This is coming up underneath. Flacco knows this is going to be the window right here. And so does Ramsey. And Ramsey does a really good job on this one, just driving on the ball. Now, the throws behind Chase, should it have been a completion? Possibly. But the way that Ramsey comes downhill and lays out Chase, who knows if he holds on to that ball, right? Who knows if he holds on to that? So I thought that was a great one. Like, sometimes he's seeing the things. If they're down in front of him, he's seeing it. If it's out to the side where he has to look around, I felt like that's where he was having the most trouble as safety. And he had the second most trouble. The most trouble was anything down behind him, beyond downfield. So on this one here, it's a single high look. Now, the interesting thing about this one is, even though this is going to be deep, you're going to have Peyton Wilson dropping here, Patrick Queen dropping here, and the tight end is going to sit down about right in here. Jalen Ramsey is the first guy to get to him. So again, when he plays downfield, he still has good closing speed. And I think that's where I'm still intrigued with him, even at the $19 million price tag. You can see him trigger on that throw and just starts crashing downhill immediately and beats both the linebackers. And both our linebackers are fast. Like, it's not we have slow guys at all. Look how number 40 was on the sideline. Pass gets there in the middle to touchdown. No, that was a Jamar Chase play. Sorry, I went too far back. I love that. But you'll see him. I mean, I think he triggers downhill really quickly, and he's still got some quick twitch to him coming downhill. It's just really it's the deep stuff over the top that he's struggling with, and then he doesn't read and diagnose plays, and he doesn't take very good angles as a safety right now. But if he's coming downhill at a guy, like, he can do that. He can definitely do that. That's the thing that I think is really intriguing with him, is he can definitely come down. Now, this one here, this was a play that Jalen Ramsey's not even going to be a part of. But I want you to watch how he reacts after the play. So Ramsey's actually out here. This is going to be a play where Patrick Queen actually ends up making the play. But watch the reaction Jalen Ramsey has. This is the fire that he brings to the defense. This is something we've missed. We haven't had anybody quite like this in some time. So you're going to see, here comes the check down. Okay, now Ramsey's bet right here. Queen's flying in to come make this play and does, and lays him out. Look at Jalen Ramsey hyping him after the play too. That's what gets me. And you're going to get to see the second angle of this because it cracks me up. But like, we haven't had guys like this with this level of attitude in our defense for a really long time. We haven't had, this is like Joey Porter Sr., this is Debo, this is Ryan Clark. Like, Ramsey has that same mentality in him. Like, look at that. Don't tell me that dude's not a good teammate, man. Hyping up your dude after he makes a play and a big hit like that on the running back for a division rival. Like, that's a guy who cares. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. So this is going to be some more downhill stuff that we're going to see from Jalen Ramsey. Again, it's going to be coming out of the cover 2 look. He's going to be down here in the middle of the screen. So he doesn't get a PBU on this ball, but you're going to see this is going to end up right about here. So you're going to watch the receiver come across. He's going to sit down here in the zone, but Ramsey triggers really quick. I don't think that was credited as a PBU, but the hit definitely dislodges the ball there. So again, we're going to play this thing through. You're going to see this from the other angle. Just watch how he triggers downhill right here. Like, as soon as he reads, diagnoses, that's a catch most of the time. If you're not there, the hit kind of dislodges that ball. Excuse me. So I thought that was just something that was pretty interesting, because I really think that he is very good at coming downhill. It's just when he's working sidelines and when he's working this over-the-top vertical stuff, he's not there yet. But if it's in front of him and he can see it in front of him, then he actually triggers pretty well. This was another play where it's just like, he's a damn good teammate, man. This is going to be a play where you're going to watch down on the bottom part of your screen. Thrown right to him. But Ramsey's coming from back here. Watch Ramsey in this play. He's hustling all the way downfield. And as this dude gets the touchdown, absolutely dives on top of him. I mean, he just cares, man. That's just one of the things that I like about him, man. You can tell you need those guys who care. You need the guys who talk shit. You need the guys who bring some attitude, a guy who's willing to lay somebody out, a guy who's going to be the big hitter of your team, brings a little bit of the attitude, and he's like the enforcer type guy. We don't have it. TJ's mild-mannered. Cam can be that way, but he can't be everywhere at once. Patrick Queen doesn't do this stuff. You don't see it from Peyton Wilson. Like, we don't have a guy like that, and he brings that to the defense. And I'm intrigued with him and Deshaun Elliott, honestly. And then Jaquan Brisker can hit. Like, the three of them on the field together is going to be intriguing to me. I think that's going to be a big part. So, yes, absolutely. Downhill diagnosis, short area cover guy. That's his strengths. But yes, you cannot teach art. Absolutely, Slash. I totally agree. So on this one here, this is just him playing head games on Chase. So you're going to see Ramsey lined up here. Here's Chase. This is going to be a run play. He does not make a tackle on this, but watch what he does to Chase. and toss. But he doesn't just toss. He tells him about it. You're going to see this from the other angle. I told you I had a little bit of fun with this stuff. So here's Ramsey and Chase. They're going to get into this blocking match. Chase likes to be a bully too, but Ramsey puts him on the ground. Chase gives him a little business, and Ramsey gives it right back. I love it. Like, I love those things, and you could definitely tell throughout that game, Joey Porter Jr. and everybody kind of took Chase out of his element, right? So like Porter was talking a lot to him, Ramsey was talking a lot to him, and kind of took him completely out of the equation. I do think it's going to be a solid 3 safety tandem too. I'm interested to see how they all 3 get deployed, because there's going to be a lot of fun mix and matching going on there. So this one's week 12 against the Bears. So I'm still pretty much going in a chronological order here. So this one's going to turn out to be more of a cover 3 zone. I like what he does here. This is going to turn out to be a completion. So you're going to see Ramsey right here in the field. But if you watch the route concepts that are going to be coming up through here, I like the way he plays with patience on this one and just kind of lets this play out. So you're going to see this. You're going to have drop, drop, drop. Ramsey's going to sit here. You got a linebacker here. You got a linebacker there. You got the coverage on the outside, but you've got 3 guys down here. And what he could do, could he carry this guy up the field and stay with him? Or does he trust the 2 guys to play the deep defense like he's supposed to in this scheme and trigger down on the tight end? That's exactly what you're going to see. He triggers down on the tight end. Tight end makes the catch. He's going to come up again, quick burst, wraps up, does not let him get anything after the catch. And that ends up being a short of the first down. So I like the way he triggered to that ball. I'm going to play that one just one more time really quickly. Because, again, if you watch the route concepts, they bring all 3 guys. You got kind of a trips look down here on the bottom of the screen. And it's going to be easy for him to continue to carry the inside release guy up the field. Instead, he waits on the tight end like he's supposed to. That's just knowing the playbook, knowing your responsibility, knowing your role. It was a 3rd down if you couldn't see that on the sideline marker there. So I just thought he knew the play. He knew his concept and his defense and his responsibilities, and he played it out very well on that one. So I liked what he did there. It's a completion, but, man, it's okay. It's short of the sticks. We were able to get the ball back after that. So this one ends up being a designed run for Caleb. So you're going to see the running back. I think this one was I think it was Swift at the time. Swift is going to lead out here, and you're going to see Caleb going right behind him. You've got 1 safety down here. Ramsey's going to be in the high look. And this, again, is just attitude, man. Like, here you go. You're one-on-one with Caleb. Caleb can run, but he doesn't allow him to just run out of bounds. He throws him about 10 yards out of bounds. There was no flag on the play either. I mean, Caleb's still well within him, about a step and a half in bounds. And I love the fact that Jalen didn't just pull up on that. He just brings that aggression out. And, if you're going to run your quarterback, just so you know, we're going to punish him a little bit if we get a free shot on him. So I liked what he did with that one. And then I have one other play from the Chicago Bears game. I actually think this one's more of a schematic issue. I wasn't completely certain. So sometimes when you're watching this stuff, I'm guys, I'm not a coach. I'm not some kind of a scout. Like I don't always know exactly what I'm seeing. I felt like this is more of a schematic issue, but I feel like he could have done a better job of taking the seam route away on this. So you're going to see Jalen down here at the top part of this screen, and you're going to see the vertical release. So you got an in-breaking route here. You have a corner on the outside. But you can tell neither of the linebackers are getting any depth here. But here's the thing that kind of got me. So you've got a safety on this bottom side of the screen. He's already starting to be up. But Jalen's still drifting backwards. And Caleb is already getting ready to release the ball up this seam route right here. And Jalen never does react to it. So I don't think it was fully schematic issues. I think that's a late reaction. I don't know where that plays in. I appreciate it, Cody. But I think that, like, to me, he should have triggered down on that ball a little quicker. I mean, he can see everything out in front of him. There was nothing really to look at. Sorry, this is the play before I went too far backwards. But I think when you look at it, the way that I would have read this play, I think if I were him in this situation, you see the seam route coming in this absolute ocean to throw into. As a safety, I mean, it's a Dunze. Could he beat you over the top? Maybe. But why allow that ocean of real estate to be open instead of coming down on this a little bit harder? I felt like that was more of a read react type thing for him, more so than maybe schematic, even though he was the deepest guy on the field. I just would have liked to see him probably take this ball away, at least take the route away and make them force the underneath throw. They probably could have, checked back down to the underneath in breaker if they wanted to, but I'd have rather seen you check it down to the in breaker at about 5-7 yards than hit the seam route that's about 15 yards downfield in an easy completion, because it's a wide open territory. So maybe again, I'm nitpicking. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think on that one, but we're going Baltimore week. So I do have both Baltimore games in on this. And I did skip from 14 to 18 because I was kind of running out of time on this, because it was obviously, we're 46 minutes into this thing and I'm still not done. So imagine me working through all the film. So right here, again, I'm not 100% certain on the assignment on this one. So I'm going to be honest on this play before I actually let it play out. So I think he gets caught looking in the backfield for the quick hitter. It's a third down play, similar to what we saw earlier in the Bengals game with Jamar Chase hitting the deep shot downfield. And you've got some man-to-man look down on the bottom here. So this actually is a play that ends up going to Flowers out of the slot. He's going to run this little slot fade. And right here, Ramsey's eyes are completely on Lamar Jackson. He's not looking at any of these guys up here. He's not looking at any of these guys back here. What I think he saw, and I don't know this for certain, again, I'm not sure, but you've got Queen who's in coverage. You've got Peyton Wilson here, and I think Wilson might be a spy, because you can see him kind of like he's got the running back out of the backfield, but you had Queen in the middle. But man, that slot fade was open for a touchdown, and Lamar just overthrows this, and you can see how late Jalen Ramsey's reacting to this ball. Now, Eccles does a pretty decent job of getting his hand in there and helping break that thing up. I just feel like Ramsey probably should have been in on that play as the only deep safety on the field in this play. I didn't like how we saw that, and we're going to see it from the other angle here. So again, Ramsey's in the middle of the field, and just watch his eyes. He's completely there. But the backpedal, that reaction was the oh shit moment to me, and I thought that's where I'm like, this isn't schematic. So I'm going to play that back one more time from this angle, because watch this oh shit moment where he comes in and he's like, oh God, I'm getting hit over the top. Right there. That one step in. And then you can see Lamar triggering on the slot fade right away. And then Ramsey says, oh shit, we're getting beat deep. And then he tries to react, but there's no way you're getting out to that. And it just happens to be, it's an underthrown ball. Eccles, I think, does a good job of getting the hand in there. That saved a touchdown. Eccles kind of saved both he and Jalen's ass, in my opinion, on that play. You guys can take that how you want. But to me, I felt like he just got caught with his eyes in the backfield, and Lamar's running ability held him instead of allowing him to play over the top like he should have on that one. So on this one, Jalen is in the cover 2 look right here. It's actually going to end up being a man-to-man. So he's going to have man on the inside receiver release. So what you're going to see is Jalen here. They bring Flowers in motion. It looks like Pierre is following, but you can see the two of them communicating right here. And here comes the inside release. And then, again, downhill, triggering on the ball, gets a PBU on this play. Now, there was a flag on the back end of that. But, man, when he's coming downhill, guys, he actually can play downhill pretty well and effectively. And when he gets to see everything directly in front of him and everything's in his line of sight, he's pretty damn good. You can see, again, here's him and Pierre talking. You're going to see that the vertical is coming up. He lets the vertical. Well, it ends up being a post. But the way he triggers down on Flowers, man, there's no hesitation. He knows the play. He knows how to react to it, and he just comes crashing downhill. And I thought that, for me, is something like, I'm comfortable if you're keeping him there to where, like Slash said earlier in the show, like if it's a too high look and he doesn't have to be the only deep guy, and you have help over the top with both sides of the field, you narrow that field of vision for him, he probably makes this adjustment a little bit easier. Last year, when he's in the single high look, it wasn't quite the same. And you're going to see that exactly happening right here on this play, because you're going to have a trips look on this play. Now, by all accounts, in the initial setup, we have this play pretty well covered up because you've got 3 guys out here. All right. But you've got Ramsey's the deep guy. Here's, again, a problem with him, and I think field of vision. So you got these guys out wide. Obvious miscommunication here, right? So you've got the tight end releasing outside. Flowers is going to be releasing over across the middle. And Ramsey does not trigger down on this at all. I'm sorry, but if you see a guy running this freaking open and everyone's going the wrong direction, there's no one else. You got your quarterback spy right here. TJ's getting chipped. You've got your man out here, but no one's here. Look at this. He doesn't start moving until the ball is out of Lamar's hands and on the way to Flowers. And you've still got 9 yards of cushion. And right here, Ramsey's starting to come up, but you can see him starting to break down. He knows he's screwed. You're triggering on the ball. It's already in Zay's hands. You are still 6 yards away. That's too much cushioning. You should have seen this one coming out. And not only that, but after the catch, knowing you're 6 yards away, you take a bad angle. So now not only do we stop this play at the point of catch, you're going to see Zay take this thing way up the sidelines for another 10, 12, 15, 17 yards. Wasn't just a big play. It's a massive error. That's a massive error for safety, and it's an unexcusable error as a safety, in my opinion. That's the part where you just cannot rely on him to just solely sit back there. Sorry, a little touchy on this thing. But you cannot just sit back there and allow that to happen. So back to the trips look. You're going to see it right here. Trigger on that now. Like, you cannot wait. Even if you don't, man, the bad angle killed him. I mean, the bad angle absolutely killed him on that one. I just hate the way he played that. And then everybody's going to remember this play. Sorry, guys. Apologize. It's going to bring back a little PTSD for us, because right here is going to be the matchup. You got Jalen Ramsey, and you have Tez Walker, I think the kid from UNC, if I'm remembering his name correctly. He comes in motion right here. Here's your matchup. These guys are talking. Everybody knows who's got who. Jalen Ramsey is, again, this is a third down situation. Now, this is the third time on this film we've seen this same thing, where he's breaking down, expecting this thing to be a short little route. And guess what happens? Dude that ran a 4.35 or whatever at the combine absolutely smokes him on the back end. And Ramsey is still coming straight line down the side, like down the field, across the field. Dude, you are nowhere near the receiver at this point. Absolutely cooked right there. Like, that is just absolutely cooked. And I don't know. Again, I think he's looking at this. We're going to watch this one more time. Here comes he thinks this is coming straight across the middle of the field for a first down. Instead, the receiver's slipping downfield into more of a post flag. Like, look at this thing. I mean, dude, you're just cooked. He was holding the outside leverage. Cody's on that for the rest of the year. So I don't know. I just can't understand why that was the week 18 play, by the way. Sorry, I had switched into week 18 and didn't tell you guys. But I mean, that's absolutely cooked. Deep targets were definitely an issue for him. That was something that he really had a very big issue with. And we got about 4 more plays to go here, guys. So I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit for you. So this is a play where he actually plays this play pretty well. He's shading the tight end. Comes off as Lamar is looking for the ball. So he's in the middle of the field. You're going to see Andrews coming across. He lets him go as he sees us coming across the middle. And honestly, if Patrick Queen doesn't get a hand on the ball, Zay Flowers might not be, able to eat food anymore, because like he was coming pretty heavy after him. So you're going to see Andrews coming across, and then Flowers is the backside dig. And Flowers tries to make an adjustment, but like PQ gets a hand on the ball. Ramsey's in position anyway. You're going to see this from the other angle here. But I just think Ramsey was going to lay him out or get a hand on the ball, even if Patrick Queen doesn't. So that's just one of the things I picked out from him. Again, this is in front of him. Everything's coming toward the middle of the field, so he doesn't have to look far, right? So he doesn't have to have that range of motion and the range of vision. It's all in front of him, and he does those things well. I'm telling you guys, he like that. He read and reacted just fine. So on the next one, this is actually going to be a matchup with Mark Andrews. So again, Mark Andrews has been a very successful tight end in the league. Not the super most athletic guy in the world, but knows how to use his leverage with his body, his control, his hands are very good, and he gets open pretty well. So you're going to see the matchup right here up in the top part with this inside receiver as Andrews is going to come down here. And you're going to see the motion. Ramsey's following, clearly a man coverage. immediately triggers on this. Lamar initially, if you didn't catch it, looks out. So as you see this, Lamar is going to give a look right here because he thinks this is open. Flowers is going to come inside. JPJ's got him locked down. And Lamar looks that way. He's just not there. And that's just going to force them to sack. As a coverage sack, everybody across the board does a good job on that one. But I just thought the way that he ran well with Andrews on that play helped out with making that coverage sack be a possibility on that one. So I like the way that he did that. So if he's going to play in the box, even as a safety, just in the box in those tight end situations, I think he's more than capable of doing that. Again, we've talked, and I think Slash and a couple other you guys in the chat have talked about this a little bit, where Jalen Ramsey in the cornerback room as a whole has really good depth. If we're going to put these guys on the field, you're going to have guys, like ASJ on the field. You're going to have guys like Brandon Eccles on the field at times, and Ramsey can still play inside that box to take the tight end matchups. That's a good place to be in. So I like that. And then you can have Jaquan Brisker as the guy roaming over top. I think there's some plenty of flexibility within our lineup to see what we can do here. So this is the last one. So Jalen Ramsey's lined up as the star role. So he's actually going to be lined up right here. And I may have triggered this play just a little too soon. So what you're going to see is him coming up here. Now Lamar has nowhere to go with this ball. So he's going to take off. Jalen does a really good job here of boxing him in, forcing it back inside, making sure that he can't get up the sideline. You're going to see this from the other angle where you can see it a little bit better. So here he is, kind of that star role where you're kind of that linebacker. He's got the tight end help, but the tight end's going to block. So he's going to drop off and just see who he can pick up. Now he's in this kind of area where you're one-on-one with Lamar. Lamar's as tough to tackle as anybody in the league in the open space. That time he does a great job of breaking down and making sure Lamar can't get outside of him and go up the sideline and create havoc. He did a great job right there. So, again, he's a great, great player at breaking down when he's got everything under control. I think the thing where the sideline to sideline, he's struggling to make tackles out that way because he's not breaking down and taking good angles off of that. But yeah, Slash, definitely love him on tight ends. He's shutting down most tight ends in this league pretty easily. Excuse me. And the last one here, he kind of gets stuck between two guys running downfield. He doesn't overcommit. So I think this was a situation where you could easily say, yeah, this should have been a PBU. I kind of felt like he played this okay. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. Like, I don't think he misplayed this. This is going to be the play where late in the game, you've got everybody coming down here. And this is Isaiah Likely coming down here. You've got another guy breaking down here. Then you have this guy kind of forcing his way upfield. And then you've got three guys coming across the middle. Now, right here, would I like him to come up a little bit earlier? Because Lamar's already he's releasing the ball. You've got TJ coming off the edge. He's pretty damn close to getting a sack. If you come up even 3 yards, Lamar thinks twice about this throw. But he doesn't do that. Likely makes the catch right there. Jalen tries to high point that ball. Isaiah Likely is a pretty damn tall receiver on the field. But you could see right here, we've lost our coverage here. Jalen's trying to make up a little bit of ground here. That's why I said I don't hate it, because you've got three guys all deep on this play, and he has to stay as the last line of defense. So if he overcommits down here to take away this throw, who knows? Maybe this guy ends up breaking across here and getting open, and you got a backside throw with an easy completion, and that could go for a touchdown. But instead, he doesn't overcommit. He just misses this ball. I think he got a hand on the hand of Likely, but I think this was just a really good catch, to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't hate that play. So anyway, I'm going to kind of take this back down now at this point. So that was my take on the film. I think that if he's triggering downhill, you can see there's a lot of potential there. If he's sideline to sideline, he hasn't quite figured those things out yet. If he's got some really deep over the top stuff, he's struggling there. He hasn't figured those things out from the safety role, and he had some trouble with that stuff even as a corner, even though there's some times where I saw him in good position, but there's been more times where he's been out of position. So keep it underneath of him. Allow him to trigger downhill. I think you can still move him around, and I see where they're getting their vision from, because you can see him probably playing a number of different roles really, really well and I'd be completely fine with it. I do think that he's going to probably be better suited as the nickel corner, in my opinion, because I think there's a lot left in the tank there. I think he still runs with receivers pretty well outside of the guys. If you got some absolute burners coming out of the slot, probably don't want him on those guys. But if you've got some guys who are big physical guys, like a lot of these big slot corners or big slot wide receivers that are coming in there, I think he can handle them pretty well. Tight ends he can definitely handle really well, even the athletic guys. But I just think that's a problem when he's going sideline to sideline as a safety, and I think it's going to be a problem when he's trying to hit over the top. So we'll see how it plays out. Is he worth $19 million? You guys can leave some comments in this and let me know what you think. But he's going to be here. Yeah. Oh, dude, the linebacker schematics are in absolute just disaster. And as we ran through, man, when I was running through some of the cover 2 stuff, dude, oh man, the corner runs to the same spot on the field every freaking time. There's no adjustments. It was awful. It was like watching Madden play calling. But yeah, man, I don't know. Is he worth $19 million? I don't know if he's worth quite $19 million, but the attitude, the teammate that he is, the things that he's going to bring as an intangible with a leadership perspective, I think you can start to justify that. It's still a pretty damn high number because he's like the top 3 paid corner in the league, I think right now, top 3 safety paid in the league right now. Those will probably change with some contracts, but yeah, I think he's going to be just fine in our defense, and hopefully Patrick Graham knows how to utilize him. So I think he's going to be fine too, Slash, and I think they're going to play. That's one thing Patrick Graham's really good at. He does play to guys' strengths, and he does tailor his defenses after some of the strengths of these guys instead of just having that hard-nosed mentality like Batomlin had, where you run my defense and I don't care what you do. Well, and thank God Austin is gone. Yes, absolutely. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. This one was a really freaking long one. Probably not going to be doing anymore. This extensive and this long, but I hope you like this. I hope it gives you something to think about with Jalen Ramsey and how he's going to be utilized moving forward. And I will probably be breaking down Aaron Rodgers next. So can't wait for that one. So until next time, appreciate you guys in the chat. Sorry that it was kind of wonky the way I was trying to do this and figure out how to kind of manipulate everything to get your comments on the screen and address some of the things you have going on. But we'll be back Friday for the Friday show, of course, as usual. There will not be a worm on this weekend because I'm going to take a breather between the next 2. But I definitely will be trying to get Aaron Rodgers out by at least the following weekend because I'm not going to break down 27 plays again. So Aaron's a hot topic. Definitely figured you guys would like to see some Aaron Rodgers stuff, and we'll see what he can do with McCarthy's system. Other than that, appreciate it, Slash, and we will try to keep him coming. Until next time, have a good
It's over.